bit, and I will join as soon as I can.
All right, we will catch you later.
All right.
Uh, and as y'all just heard, Dar will be back. He's got a quick meeting he has to attend to, and then he'll be back later. Also, good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning. And man, did some stuff happen over the weekend. All right. Now, I'm actually going to, fair warning, let you all know now. I'm not, so that no one's going to say, well, did he or didn't he? I am intentionally avoiding the all this nonsense going on with Trump and the persecution of him by the Biden uh, Department of Justice or Department of Injustice. All right. I'm intentionally avoiding that for the simple fact there are so many other things going on, and I'm not going. I'm not going to let that suck the air out of the room, uh, and avoid everything else. Because honestly, considering the timing of the dropping of that, uh, and to just happenstance correspond to the same day that it turns that everything about Joe and Hunter Biden is released, I just find that a little bit too much on the coincidental side. So, uh, with the and one, and, okay, I'm going to say this. Okay, remember back years and years and years ago when the Republicans were going after Bill Clinton and the Democrats and their lapdogs and in the media all proclaimed this was nothing more than a political that it was nothing more than a political witch hunt, even though Clinton admitted to breaking the laws. There were actual laws broken, not questions about did he have authorization to have this piece of paper, uh, and if there's and everything that could be brought against Trump right now is more than doubly uh, applicable to Joe Biden. Because remember, Joe Biden was only vice president, but he had all those classified documentation. So this is why I'm staying clear of that on the stream because I could chew up the whole 2 hours and then some and never talk about anything else. Hey, morning, Keever. Well, I'm glad to see you stop by. You are I do call you Lady Lark for a reason. That's because I enjoy listening to your songs when you're singing to people. But thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Last week I showed the video of the gentleman in Reading who was arrested at the gay pride or gay a pride event. He was holding a sign that, and cops come over and talked to him and told him that he had to be respectful. He had to stay on his side of the street, couldn't cross the street, had to be respectful of the people on the other side. Well, and I like the way, okay, and he's told the cop, you do you, I'm going to do me. Within a minute, man opens his mouth and says the word God, and the cop comes running over. All right, that's enough of that, and arrest him. Wouldn't let him take off his backpack and hand it to this other guy that was there with him. Just arrested him right there on the spot. got a bit handsy in my opinion, but not overt, not so much that police brutality charges could be brought up or anything else. But anyway, charges were dropped. Now, self-professing. He's a Christian. Do they ever use self-professing trans, self-professing gay, self-professing non-binary, self-professing Muslim? They never use self-professing anywhere else except in front of Christians. Okay, so charges were dropped against a self-professing Christian street preacher who was arrested while citing the Bible in protest of an LGBTQ pride event in Reading, Pennsylvania. Damon Atkins, who was arrested on June 6th for disorderly conduct, engaged in fighting. He's standing there holding a sign. Engaged in fighting. It didn't even say fighting words. Nothing he could be said could be construed as being fighting words. But the charges were dropped after an official review of the video evidence, the Berks County District Attorney's Office said in a press release. The charges were withdrawn after District Attorney Office reviewed the videos of the incident along with the applicable case law. Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach has told the Lancaster Patriot that he believes the arrest of Atkins was unlawful and could open the city to Reading and their police department to legal action. It was not only unlawful, it was unconstitutional. Any searches of him afterwards were also unconstitutional. And that would, but has opened the city of Reading and their police department to a lawsuit. I read another article. This man's already looking for a lawyer to bring a lawsuit against him.
Outstanding.
Oh, welcome back. And there will be, and I've been watching a lot of these auditor videos and such. I don't agree with all of them now. Be upfront with you. I don't agree with all of them, but there's a few of them, like Jeff Gray out of South Florida, who travels the entire state all the way up into Mississippi and Georgia. He does an amazingly good job, and a few others. And when they do bring lawsuits, they get anywhere between $50,000 to $150,000. Of course, the police departments aren't paying these, and the cities aren't paying these out of their own pocket. They all have insurance policies that cover them. But because of the bad actions of the cops, because that insurance, as you know, like your car insurance, you get involved in accidents that are your fault, your car insurance goes up.
So did we say hi to Kiever Dam?
Yes, I did.
Outstanding.
I called Lady Lark and said hi to her.
Nice.
You know, much as when I'm talking to Nuts,
Yeah.
okay, I refer to her as my lady. All right. Kiever Dam I refer to her a lot of times as Lady Lark because of her amazing singing voice
Ah.
and the way she puts out happy birthday songs to everybody on her channel.
Yeah, I can hardly wait till I read a happy birthday song from her.
Same here. I'll find out in October. The video of Atkins' encounter with the police officer and his arrest was caught by Matthew Weir. In the video, Atkins was seen talking to Bradley McClure as he cites Bible verses to the attendees of the event, which reportedly included drag queens and children. Of course, Atkins is standing on a sidewalk, which is public property. And McClure said, "Yeah, you're right." You know, Atkins later shouted, "God cares." McClure, "Let them have their day." On and on. We saw the video. McClure was a bit of a dick. He's being overly protective. And as I said then, that day I showed the video, and I'll say again to now. All right, there's no way that this guy would be that protective if it was a conservative group having a public event like that, and there were counter protesters or people showing up to protest them. For some reason, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, conservative protesters are the ones who get shut down by the police and by the cities and by the government. And for the most part, conservatives wanting to obey the laws a lot of times will buckle down and submit because they don't want to be arrested. They don't want to violate the laws, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. But on occasion, you get a few that say, "Hey, listen, I'm following the law. I'm following the Constitution," and they do end up getting arrested. But they never. Well, I'm not going to say they rarely get any support in the press. Much as this article, it's reporting the facts, but it's not giving him any support. It's not. There's nothing in the article showing, at least in this particular article, going with the laws that McClure violated and the Supreme Court rulings that McClure violated on this. So anyway, hey, does Buenos Aires even still exist in your world? Because Buenos Aires was attacked by the aliens in Starship
Troopers. That's where that comes from. That is the reason it's in there. It's called I'm glad you got it. Got the reference. I just didn't put the whole line in.
Okay.
Rico's whole line.
Yeah.
I'm from Buenos Aires, and I say kill them all.
Yeah, that would, unless you understood the reference, that could be taken badly.
That could be taken the wrong way. So I just said I'm from Buenos Aires, which, yes, is from Starship Troopers, yes. Okay, so I love that movie.
Oh, I do. Well,
it's like I love the movie, but the book was so much better.
Well, the movie, the director admitted in the movie that he intentionally misrepresented 90% of what Heinlein wrote.
Yeah.
Because he politically disagreed with the stances and the political undertones in the book itself.
Right. And I get that. And, he camped it up a lot and all that kind of thing. But still, yeah, the book was fantastic.
The book is it's an amazing read. I love it. That's one of my reread books.
I'm not going to say that I 100% agree with all Heinlein's, thoughts and stuff in it either, but he raises some interesting points that I think are valid. So
the one point that there are so many days I sit there and say Heinlein's absolutely right is that in order to be considered a full citizen, you have to have performed so many years of public service.
Yeah.
And there are so many days I sit there and say, that's not really that bad of an idea.
Yeah. No, I see. Yeah, like I said, I don't 100% agree with everything, but, there's some good ideas in there. And I see why he was making those points. So I'm not 100% agreement or disagreement with anything written there. That's all
No,
I'm saying.
yeah, same here, same here.
But it is, good food for thought. So I'll
Uh,
leave it at that.
and I'm not going. And we could make a whole stream out of that book alone.
Oh God, yes. Could we ever? Well, you could make a whole stream out of the movie too. So
Yeah, well, the that movie was, if you take it separate from the book and not the twisted logic that the director threw in there, the movie is
right.
a fun watch.
Oh, it is, and you can apply so many of the lines from Starship Troopers to modern day life from that movie.
And now you're going to make me have to watch that movie again this afternoon. 'Cause
Yes, I am.
I haven't watched it in about a year, so I'm going to have to
Yeah.
watch it again.
So yeah, but many of the lines from that movie could apply to everyday life right now.
Yep,
Well, the book definitely does. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, but many lines from that movie could apply to everyday life.
that's it. That you're absolutely right. All right, but now
But of course, because
speaking
I'm smarter than I look.
of, well, the skulls, they're not skulls in and of themselves are not known for having great brain power.
Yeah, well,
Usually because they don't have one.
yeah, it's like the skeleton walks into a bar and says, "Hey, I'll have a beer and a mop."
Yeah,
All right, so I totally took this thing and sidetracked it. Sorry.
that's all right. That's all right. Because we're just going to talk about this Canadian um, elected official here who he swore. See that little notch up underneath his eyeball right there?
No, because you're not sharing the
No,
screen.
because the screen did not share. So let me.
You must hit that present button.
Okay, is it sharing now? Yes.
There it is. Yes.
Okay. You see that little bump he's got up underneath his eyeball?
Yeah, on his cheek
Right
there.
there.
Looks
All
like
right.
someone popped him one because he needs it.
That's exactly what he claimed. He's at a gay pride parade, and he swore some anti-transphobe punched him. Now he's an elected official out of Ottawa, Canada,
That doesn't look like someone punched him.
and you know, and being an elected official, he's got police personal protection supplied by the government.
Hey Neil, how's it going?
Hey Neil, what's up? And these guys, they're nobody's going to get close enough to an elected official to pop them in the eyeball like that.
No.
Okay, not without being immediately wrestled to the ground and beaten the tar out of themselves and arrested.
But he's old and has thin skin, so who
Right.
knows?
So, very right. Well, people who are questioning his recitation of the events, they pulled a 4chan
Yeah.
on him, and they found this. This picture here is of him with his megaphone.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And you see this little piece of metal thing here? I don't know if I can blow this picture up anymore. You see that
Yeah, his
little?
megaphone hit him in the eye.
He sort of done that to himself.
Yeah.
But he had to go and make a big lie to the
Yeah.
press about how he taken a punch for the queer and trans youth any day.
Whatever.
So, yeah, Mister Joel Harden. Yeah, politicians lying is not a new thing,
No, not even close.
right?
Well, I'm going to mute for a few minutes
All right.
and go take care of something else, and I shall return shortly. This is going to be and I can already tell this is going to be an in and out day for me, a busy day. So sorry,
That's
but
all right.
I must appease the masses.
Oh, yes. So not a single delivery is printed out this morning, so you're just chilling. Okay. Yeah, that could be good and could be bad, you know. Good day to chill, bad day if you're trying to earn some money and you can't get paid unless you get some deliveries out there. Oh, I know what I was trying to look up before a conversation that I had gotten into, and it's amazing. This conversation over on TikTok. It's amazing how long this thing has gone on. All right. I'm going to see if I can find it here. Uh, Here we go. Okay. Now, I got to admit, all right, let me start this off here this way. I should have remembered that this particular woman is Canadian. All right. And so I should have been a bit more, um, how can I say this? I should have said country's flag instead of American flag. All right, because I have taken quite a lot of hits for people saying things along the lines, "Oh, so you're another one of these Americans think you're the only country in the world," yada yada yada. But this woman here, she's uh, making fun of people about ridiculing people who say that who are against having trans flag, the gay pride flag and Black Lives Matter flags and uh, this kind of stuff, and in the classrooms, and telling teachers that now you don't stop indoctrinating our kids on your political philosophies. She doesn't like that. She doesn't like people like me that believe that teachers should not be teaching this stuff. 6:15. Today's the 12th. Yeah, that's 3 days from now. That's no problem. Oh well, on the 15th, guys, I will not be streaming. I've got another procedure on my legs on the 15th. All right. So anyway, my comment here to this. Let's make sure that that's sharing correctly. It is. All right. My comment here was the only flag that should be in the classroom is the American flag. This is where I should have said is the country's flag. All right. Now that was back on the 2nd. Here, this is the 12th. And look at all these here comments about this, that 195 comments to mine. TikTok exists out of the United States. We don't exist till they need something. She's only commenting on American gay, Canadian, which is now Canada also has some celebrations going on in November as well as June. All right. So yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback on that for being uh, there. But the number of people, rather than they all concentrate. It seems the majority of them like to concentrate on this thing that where I was admittedly wrong. I forgot that she was Canadian. because I haven't dealt with this particular locale in quite a while. So a lot of hate my way. But then we get down to see here, nope, you should only have your country's flag. All right, get past all this other crap. All right, I believe in then my comment. I believe in honoring my cut. Most most countries don't have flags in the classroom because they don't worship a flag. Well, I don't worship a flag. I honor the flag, and I'm not putting the flag before my God. All right, but I'm honoring the flag of the country that I live in. Okay. I believe in honoring my country. It's not worshiping to stand for the flag. Then the obligatory, I stand for the flag, kneel before the cross. The number of people here that damn sure that you say shouldn't behave like that. What does my having been retired military have to say with this? But it's amazing how this is just going on and on and on. But get on. This is one thing I do hate about TikTok is it doesn't open up all of the replies, all the entire thread at one time. Okay, then of course here's my obviously if you live in another country, your classroom should have your country's flags. So I cannot find. This is taking too long to get down. Get down to where I wanted it to be. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, we had that flag in our classrooms. This is 34 to 30 to 45 in Germany. Oh yeah, comparing the United States to having American flags in our classrooms. Okay, now there should be no flags in the classrooms at all. That gives totalitarian vibes. Flags in classrooms were normal in Eastern Bloc in the Nazi era. The 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 idea and this is what gets me here are the ideas of how bad it is to have, and these are all for the most part they're mostly younger people. you know why are Americans so obsessed with that flag? The real question is, why aren't you obsessed with yours? Why aren't you proud of your flag? Your flag represents your country. you know um, Here, this woman L, here we go. America has a history of slavery, racism, genocide, and colonialization. Your country is literally built on it. That surely makes you proud. Now, I'll never be obsessed with a country because most of them are built on horrible principles and actions. And my response to this is, oh, yeah, America is like every country in the world. Every country's got things in its past that it's done wrong. Because, like people, we all do, a country's built up of people. And people, not everybody is a saint, just like not everybody is a devil.
What? Not everybody's a saint?
Yeah,
Are
not
you
everybody's a
sure?
saint. And even the best person isn't a saint because everybody has done wrong. Everybody's got something in their life that they've done that wasn't exactly something that their proudest moment in life.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Some of
just
us more so than others.
right. It's just how do you how bad was that evil, that wrong thing that you did versus how much good did you do? And then, did you do things wrong and then turn your life around and do things right later on? Uh, I believe Nathan Forrest.
Nathan
Yeah,
Bedford Forrest.
yeah, he did some things pretty. What would under today's uh, ideas, he did some things that were wrong. Had some wrong beliefs, some wrong thoughts. But later in life, he realized he was wrong and fought against the things that he fought for in his younger days.
Yeah.
Okay, but that never gets talked about.
I wonder why. Hmm.
His redemption arc is never given. And countries, like people, can have redemption arcs.
Well, the thing of it is, when you look at countries, right? Modern day countries, as we think about them today, name one that was not created because somebody got conquered and some indigenous people were put displaced. Name one country where that's happened, where it was just a kumbaya moment and they decided to become a country.
I sure can't think of one.
Nope.
Think, and not just country, but think of any group of people. Everybody wants that. All these people the white people came to the Western world, and all the indigenous people were living in peace and harmony.
No, they weren't.
With the deer and the antelope and the buffalo. No, they weren't. They were warring tribes. The tribes held slaves amongst other tribes that they conquered.
Yeah.
I mean, slavery isn't just a white man's thing. The Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, Africa to this day is still a hotbed of slavery.
Yes, it is.
Slavery is still a thing even today. And yes, unfortunately, due to uh, other political issues, there is even some slavery going on in the United States today. Totally illegal, but yes, it is still happening today. And I don't think we're doing enough to eradicate it. But that's a political hot button that nobody wants to touch. But the general hatred out there in the world for the United States, and the problem is it is fostered by people within the United States.
Well, it's fostered by our own politicians.
That's what I'm saying. It's fostered by our own by us, by our own people, by people we've elected to office, and then reelected and reelected because they keep fostering the hate. And hate is a powerful, powerful thing to go out there with because you have to keep making it larger and larger to keep it going. Because
Yep.
eventually it burns itself out unless you feed more fuel to it. And these people are not doing anybody any favors by feeding that hate because all they're doing is going to self-destruct. They're going to destroy our country. And are there things with our country as it is running today that could be improved, that should be improved? Yes, always. Always. There's always room for improvement. But the more we improve things, the easier our lives get. The more time there is for people to sit there and look for more minute things to nitpick about and to hate on, and use to feed that cycle of hate. You don't have time to sit there and be hate and looking at the microaggressions when you're busy out trying to earn a living. When you're busy trying to put food on, working to put food on your table and a roof over your head. You don't have time to look for microaggressions. You're only concerned about the big things. You don't concern about the little things. And people, we have got to get over. It's like, and it's that sort of leads to this next. Now, I will fully admit I am not the biggest Star Wars nerds out there. All right. After the first 3 movies, I pretty much stopped watching them. Or really stopped caring. I watched the next 3, and then that was it. I watched the prequel 3, and then that was it. But this is out there now. Now, I have no idea who this Natasha is. So on my podcast, we'll review the Return of the Jedi. One of the things that did not sit well with me in this is this entire sequence. People keep saying the Twi'leks were BIPOC coded, but this actress, Femme Taylor, was an actual black woman. Now, she looks like she's green to me, not black. Now, that doesn't look like any black woman I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So what this woman is upset, okay, and evidently this here is supposed to be a slave woman, slave girl. But what they're upset about is that it was a black woman painted green and a black actress was hired to play this creature. Excuse me? All right, the black actress had to apply for the role, first of all. So this is a role she wanted. And I'm sure it wasn't just black women applying for this role. This black woman was picked by the producers as being the best person to fit this role. They offered her the role that she applied for. She accepted the role. Well, I guess you could call that dressed. She got adorned and painted up and such and given prosthetic devices on her head. So she had to sit through hours of makeup and special effects stuff to have that headgear made. Then she had to go and show up for the job. Then she had to do the job. There's no racism here. This is no snap against black people or black women. And how upset would y'all be if they had not have hired her and taken a white woman instead? Well, why didn't y'all hire a black woman, a black actress? You couldn't find a black actress good enough for the role? You can't win for this is what I'm talking about when people in this country have too much time on their hands to look for microaggressions. They're out here actually, looking at who got hired for what role in a movie. And, not paying attention to the fact that that person went and asked to be in that role.
Exactly.
they wanted in that role.
Well, they just need things to complain about, because if they're not the victims or complaining about something, they're not doing their job.
And they're talking about this about Star Wars needing a course correction for more black actors and actresses. Let's see, if I remember right, Billy D. Williams was in one of the early Star Wars movies.
Yes, he was.
Billy D. Williams is a black man, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And he wasn't just a bit actor in that role in that movie.
No. Well, Billy D. Williams is not a bit actor in anything he's ever done, plain and simple.
But I mean, what I'm saying is he had a lot of screen time.
Yes, he did.
And a very important role. And his character was not only important to that movie, but into the foundation of the lore of Han Solo.
Yep.
So he was a very fundamental and very important character. And rather than acknowledge that and look at that, you want to look at somebody that got a few, at most a minute and a half, 2 minutes of screen time and complain about that?
Well, yeah. Got to maintain that victim status.
By the way, Badger, good morning to you. Didn't mean to ignore you. And Duck Dog? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Billy D was not a one,
Oh, Shio.
10 people killed in the wedding bus crash in Australia.
Did they land down
under?
Leave it to Shio.
Very good, Shio. Very good. I like that. So, yeah,
They landed up under the bus.
They got thrown. Yeah.
The dingoes like my bye-bye. Sorry.
That's all right. And see, and it's not just movies where this micro worrying about the small things that sort of got onto me here the past few days.
It's they look at all these small things like this and say, see, there's a pattern, and they don't look at the bigger picture. And that's because if they did, they couldn't keep the whole victim mentality, the whole Hollywood bat. You couldn't keep that whole mentality going, and that's part of the problem. They got to keep that victim status going.
Yep. And that's part of that goes right back to what I was saying before, though, about, the self-hate being built in this country. And when I say self-hate, hate against the country.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't. So if you look at what Obama's thing was we have to fundamentally change the country.
In 10 days, we're going to fundamentally change this country.
Right. You got to fundamentally change it. But if you love something, you don't fundamentally change it. That'd be like going and buying a Picasso and then, say, well, both the eyes are on the wrong side of the head, and fundamentally changing it by putting both sides. That means you never loved that Picasso.
Right.
It's like buying a Ferrari and then putting a spoiler on it because you want to fundamentally change it. You didn't love that Ferrari.
Exactly. And
so anybody that says they love the country but it needs to be fundamentally changed is lying. They don't love the country.
Now, every country can be improved, but in order to fundamentally change something, you have to destroy it.
You have to destroy it first. Yeah. And that's what
So,
they're trying. And the only thing that's keeping it from being totally and completely them taking over and doing exactly what they want is the fact that so many people own weapons and bullets. And so that's why. So let's say, just out of, you know, I'm sorry to get off on a tangent, but I think this is important. So let's just say fundamentally that we all go, yeah, you're right. You know, nobody needs these assault weapons. So yeah, go ahead and take those. That's fine. You know, take the pistol brace. You know, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So then next, what they're going to do is come after all your bolt actions going. You know, if you have a bolt action 308 with a scope on it, they're going to say, well, that's a sniper rifle. Nobody needs a sniper rifle. And then see it, then you get on that slippery slope and it just goes down from there. Well, you're right. Nobody needs a revolver, but it's not the cowboy days anymore. Nobody needs that.
right. And that, when and if laser guns ever actually come out, well, nobody really needs that. Nobody really needs a lightsaber.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, oh, wait a minute. What the? Something just popped up here. Oh, my browser has blocked my screen.
No. Well,
What
here's something
is
else
that about?
to here's something else to think about too. What per,
Yes,
what percentage of the population participated in the Revolutionary War?
3%.
Yeah, give or, that's a healthy, probably right around 3%, right? So if you think about it that way, right? 3% of the population of what was then the British colonies participated in the Revolutionary War. And we had help from the French and that, but the fact still remains that 3% of the population totally changed the
Yep.
world. So
Well,
this whole coming after Republicans and all that, which are much more than 3% of the population, right?
yep.
Because when Ceausescu was overthrown, when he took Romania down the communist path, right? When
Hmm.
he was finally overthrown, you realize that was less than 3% of the population that overthrew him.
Right. It was like 1%.
Yeah, one and a half, something, give or take, right?
Right.
So you think about it that way. Um, it's going to take a whole lot more indoctrinating and brainwashing, because right now they probably have about 3% of the population brainwashed.
Well, yeah, but this is how bad this brainwashing is getting, though.
Yeah, and when you consider that 3% of the population is what freed us from England, that's 3% of the population being brainwashed and all that. That's a pretty scary thought.
And here you go. Trendy new preferred pronoun rules for courts.
Yeah,
All right. Religious legal groups argue the new efforts by the courts for the country to adopt guidance on inclusive language and pronouns, including one Michigan Supreme Court that would require judges to use preferred pronouns of lawyers and party.
yeah,
All right. So, okay, you show up in front of a judge, and the judge has to ask you off the bat, what's your preferred pronouns?
she, them.
Okay. Well, okay, that's fine. You got, those are your preferred. But what if you're one of these people who say, well, I'm gender fluid? My pronouns change by the minute, or
Yeah,
can
that's gonna be
change
funnier than shit.
by the
That's a good
minute.
one. Yeah, coming to court one day, my pronouns are he, him. Coming the next day, well, now my pronouns are get screwed.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Or F you.
yeah, see, that could be funny.
Yeah. On top of the fact that you're now imposing language on someone else.
Yes.
So you're now violating someone else's First Amendment rights.
Yep. Yeah, and and the thing is, the more you change language, the less you're able to communicate. So how is there an effective defense or prosecution if you can't communicate ideas? Just saying, just
Yeah.
a thought.
How do you communicate anything?
Yeah,
How do you achieve advancement in any field if at any time the language can change and what's written down doesn't uh, mean the same thing yesterday or today that it meant yesterday
exactly.
because your language changed, or you're referring to somebody and you called them he yesterday. Yesterday they were a he, so you refer to them in the newspaper that day as a he. Tomorrow they're a they them. Well, they go back and read that other article. Now they sue you because that article wasn't updated to show their new preferred pronouns for that
Yeah.
day. Yeah, this is getting screwy as all get out. Now there, and I'm not certain how I agree with this pushback here. All right, Catholic Lawyer Society of Detroit are saying that the Michigan Supreme Court proposal would force Catholic judges to either affirm an ideology that is directly contrary to Catholic teaching or risk judicial disciplinary proceedings. Okay, now this is where I'm caught in a quandary. When a person puts on their black robes and they're sitting in that judge's bench, they are no longer they themselves a private individual.
Yep.
They now are a representative of the government. Their personal opinions, personal feelings, personal views should have no sway in what happens inside that uh, courtroom as directed by them. Now, we all know that's a load of hogwash, that doesn't happen. That's why these judicial hearings for lifetime appointments in the Senate are always so much fun to watch, because you see these nominees go up there and they're forced to face and be questioned about things that they've said in the past or written in the past. And their response is always, that was in the past, as a personal opinion. If I get so honored as to acquire this position, I will, of course, follow the dictates of the law and the rulings of the Supreme Courts and the courts over me. Well, we all know that's a load.
Yep.
That's Miles be handing a cue card back and forth. One of those big ass cue cards that they you see held up for actors and actresses to remember what
Yep.
they're saying or supposed to be saying.
Yeah, or have teleprompter or something going on.
Right.
Kind of defeats the whole purpose of what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Or have a sound card in front of them with a bunch of buttons, and they push a button giving a canned response. And of course, I'm going to say that happens. I don't care who's up there, be it a KJB, was it uh, the brown woman on the Supreme Court?
Yeah. Contingent.
Yeah, or well, either her, the one that couldn't determine whether or not that I'm not a biologist. I can't tell you what a woman is, or Coney Barrett Brown. think that was her name. But anyway, the one of Trump's nominees. I don't care who nominates them, Trump or Biden or Clinton. They all say the same things when they get up there.
Yes, they do.
So those hearings, the best part of those hearings is not the softballs lobbed by the party of the president, but a lot of times the questions asked by the opposing party. John Kennedy is still one of my favorites because Kennedy, he doesn't give a damn which side of the aisle you're from. He's going to ask you some, what's section 3 of the Constitution? What's section 2? What's section 4? And I don't understand, he's been infamous for doing that. Why these judges don't, study up on that before they go up there before him so they can give him answers. But okay, we've gotten side railed here a little bit, but
yeah, that's all right.
That's normal for me. But getting back to this, how are we going to have judges sitting there and trying to determine what language to refer to people by? Are they going to start to just refer to somebody as defendant the whole time? Or witness number 1, witness number 2?
Yeah, that's probably what'll end up happening.
Because if somebody's pronouns can change minute to minute, and the judge has to be aware of these pronouns to properly refer to them. And again, I mean, this is a good point. How do you, back to what threw me off the track, you've got somebody who honestly does not believe in this pronoun nonsense. And if they don't use it, you're going to discipline them for it. So you're going to force speech on someone.
Yep.
You're going to force someone to abide by somebody else's delusions. I saw a commercial for a TV show the other day, or a clip from this TV show. It's that one with that autistic doctor.
Oh, the good doctor.
The good doctor, and he's in there dealing with a biological male who thinks he's a female, and they're examining him and examining the patient, and they get into a discussion about, the good doctor there is saying, of course you're a boy. You're this, you're that. You got XX, you got XY. You're this, XX is this, XY is that, and you're this, and therefore you. And the other doctors, well, he's mentally trapped in the wrong body. Da, 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 da. Well, then they get down, and you have to refer to this patient as in female terms. Well, they're going through, they're doing the medical stuff on them. They find out the kid's got testicular cancer.
Yep.
All right. So the look on the doctor's face had been pushing the she, her thing is like, okay, now how am I going to tell this critter that I've been affirming their gender identity as a female that they got testicular cancer, a disease that only a male can get? So I thought that was a pretty good outtake. That pretty well describes what the hell's going on in our country today.
It does.
When you're abiding by somebody else's delusions, be them real delusions or fake delusions. There was a comedian a few years back, about 10 years ago, wrote a book, and one day we'll all be women or something like that.
Yeah.
Adam Carolla, I believe, wrote the book. He was only off by a couple of decades in that.
Yep.
Hey, JoJo, good morning to you. Sorry about that. So, yeah. Oh, I don't care about that right now. See, I'm not wanting to make this whole stream about the LGBTQ and the whole thing going on in the world today or going on in our country with this, but this is June. This is being forced down our throats every damn day, whether we like it or not. And we're, if it's only amongst adults, it wouldn't bother me so much. But
It's kids.
It's infiltrating our schools. Teachers Union unveils the LGBTQ toolkit with Z them pronouns in the classroom as being critical. The National Education Association released a toolkit on sexual orientation and gender identity for teachers last Wednesday, containing detailed guidance on ways to dismantle systems of oppression and to get out of the habit of assuming the pronouns along with other LGBTQ plus focused content. Okay. But they're not trying to indoctrinate our students. They're not trying to indoctrinate our children. Your child, my grandchild, your nieces, your nephews. They're not trying to indoctrinate your kids, are they? Or so they say. But the teachers and the teacher unions are doing this. The outline include other gender non-specific pronouns like they, them, theirs, and ze, them, zers, selves, and they or ze, all. Organized in a chart surrounded by explanations on how to use the terms in the most inclusive ways possible. I'm sitting here scratching my head, folks. And I'm really wishing I had a roll of duct tape sitting here next to me so I could wrap my head to keep it from exploding. Because what they say on one hand to tell us that we don't know what the hell we're talking about is directly opposed by what they're actually doing on the other hand. Remember, these teachers, and I don't know how often I need to say this or anything else. These teachers are paid by the tax dollars. They work for us. They're not better than you. They're not higher on the ladder of evolution or knowledge or wisdom than the local farmer, the local trash collector, the guy that rings you up at Walmart, or the guy or gal that fills your prescriptions down at the pharmacy. These teachers are no more gods and goddesses than anybody else are. They're public servants. Yet we are allowing them to push this crap in our schools. to the point. Now, I wish I would have tagged the video, and I forgot to because I was tired when I watched it last night. Now, there was a time when one of the things we hear, well, they would never do that. They would never take away your car. They would never force you to buy an electric car until they passed laws saying that electric cars will be the only cars sold 30 years from now. They'd never tell you you can't own a gas stove until they pass laws saying that new homes can't have gas stoves as an option. Everything has to be all electric. They would never tell you that your little girl can't be safe at school until they pass laws saying that boys can go into the same shower room or dressing room as your little girl. That would never happen until it does. And this crap happens because we allow ourselves to get shouted down.
Yep.
We allow ourselves to get told that we're bigots, that we're racist, that we're homophobes or transphobes, we're this ism, we're that ism. We're this kind of a phobe, we're that kind of phobe. All they want, remember, at one time it was all they want to do is get married and have the same rights as any other married, male and female married couple. Remember that? That's all they, and then they put on TV shows like Will and Grace to show how gay people are just, they're no different than anybody else. And then, well, that gay pride in we all know what San Francisco is like. That gay pride parade that they have out there with the guys dressed up in leather outfits and leading each other around with dog collars and leashes. That's just the freaks. They're the freaks. Oh, that guy didn't mean to expose his balls to them kids at the drag queen story hour. He just forgot to put on his shorts and underwear that day. He forgot to bring them. Oh, no, no, no. They'd never bring a book into your elementary school showing an adult male having sex with a kid in third grade. They would never do that until they did. There's a 35-year-old woman that's currently being prosecuted. They hope they're going to be able to prosecute her because she identifies as a 15-year-old teen and didn't see anything wrong with, as a 15-year-old teen, having sex with other 15-year-olds. So now the courts are sort of caught up in a quandary because, if they accept this whole idea that you are what you say you are, what you think you are, how are they going to prosecute this woman for having sex with 15-year-old kids when she identifies as a 15-year-old? Right, Badger? Nobody's trying to take your guns. This is all such a we're watching a What the 50s and 60s didn't do is happening now at a much faster
Yeah.
pace. In the 40s and 50s, we were worried about communists taking over our colleges. In the 2000s, we're worried about, 60 years later, we're worried about pedophiles taking over our elementary schools. And we want to know what's gone wrong with our country. Hello, nurse. Morning, Spittle. So, okay. Hey, all right. I'm told change the subject here. I made my first 2 batches of cowboy candy this weekend. Found a recipe I tried out. Went and got a pound of jalapenos and a pound of srirachas. And the srirachas were actually hotter than than the jalapenos were.
Well, of course they are. They're a hotter pepper.
And I pickled them suckers up and um, used my well, I found the recipe. The apple cider vinegar, 2 cups of sugar to 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. That's a lot of sugar, people. I mean, a 5 pound bag of sugar usually lasts me years because I don't use a lot of sugar. And when I go through 4 cups of sugar in one day, but anyway, so then I used, made up my syrup, then boiled up the peppers inside of that syrup, put them in the can. Then I used the food saver with the lid, the mason jar lid attachment
Yeah.
to vacuum seal the jars. So I got them in the refrigerator. I'm going to let them sit in there for a few days before I try them. But I'm looking forward to see how these things turn out. Threw some crushed red peppers into each one just to give it a little additional, not much, just a few flakes. Maybe a dozen or so flakes in each jar. Well, in each pan of the boiling vinegar. Is that how you make yours?
I don't know. My wife makes them. I don't.
Oh, your wife does that for you? Okay. So how long do you let yours sit before you start eating them?
Um, just depends. Depends what I'm making.
Ah, okay. I figure I want to let these sit for at least 2 to 3 days
Yeah, that would be appropriate.
before I break into the jars and try them out. But I can't wait. And if this turns out as good as I hope it does, I'm never going to be buying another jar at $14 a jar again
What, jalapenos?
of the candied jalapenos. Yeah.
I've never bought a jar of candied jalapenos.
So
I didn't even know you could buy them that way.
yep. And I've seen them as cheap as I bought them as cheap as $14 a jar, but I've seen some at $17 and $18 a jar for a half quart. So it's like, yeah, no. If these turn out that good, I'll just make up my own.
Homemade's always better.
So, but I will have to say this: the wife did not appreciate the smell in the house of the apple cider vinegar cooking.
Yeah.
She did not appreciate that odor in the house. So next time I'll have to make certain I start them as soon as she leaves to go to Sam's before, rather than waiting until she's been gone for an hour.
Pretty much, yeah. Well,
So
I
you out of
know,
there?
yeah, I know it's early, but I got to go
All
because I
right.
am going to be grilling up some burgers for lunch today.
All
So
right.
I'm gonna go get the grill all fired up and that sort of thing.
Right.
But in the meantime, I want everybody to know, have a happy Monday, even better rest of your week, and remember, always be yourself. Unless you can be a sailor, then be a sailor. Talk to you guys later.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Okay. I'm going to jump over to Oregon here, the West Coast. Okay, I find this to be almost funny. Where here we go. The Oregon GOP walk out on culture war bill threatening billions in school funds. AP story. Okay. Funding for schools, literacy programs, and special ed teachers in Oregon, the state where 60% of third graders can't read at grade level, could be jeopardized because Republicans walk out and have stalled hundreds of bills and derailed the legislature for nearly 6 weeks. Wow. What could cause Republicans to walk out of their state legislature? And I mean, what is so evil? What is so what has caused these Republicans to walk out and not do their job? Well, it's a standoff over a bill that would expand access to abortion and gender affirming health care. Okay. The Republicans say no, we're not going to let this bill come up for a vote, and you can't bring a vote on this bill unless we're here. So as long as you want to bring that, as long as the Democrats want to bring this bill up for a vote, we're not going to show up. Well, because they don't show up, no bill can get a vote. Now, if I had some other bills that were extremely important to me, like these education bills, and I had the opposition was so damnably opposed to a bill that they were willing to walk out over it, that's a pretty good indication that, hey, I can't bring that bill up for a vote. I need to bring these other bills up, bills that we agree on that need to be passed. But not the Democrats in Oregon. No, 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 no. Not the Democrats in Oregon. They are so damned set on passing a bill that would expand access to abortion and gender affirming health care that they're willing to let these education bills and such not get voted on. Now, they've only got 2 weeks. They've only got 2 weeks before their legislative time period runs out. Now, of course, the AP is going to push their agenda here. Ms. Claire Rush with the AP. Oregon Senate Republicans office sent an email that is critically important to make certain that education is fully funded and that the caucus will return by June 25th to pass substantially bipartisan bills and budgets. But Democrats say waiting until the session's last day to pass bills isn't feasible. The school districts need a sense of potential funding by early July to begin planning for the next school year. Then don't bring the other bill up for a vote. Don't bring the other bill up. If lawmakers don't return soon, Dem Brown says she suspects Tina Kotek, the governor, will need to convene a special session at some point to do the budgets. Again, a bill is so egregious to the other side that they're willing to walk out. Then why are you bringing that bill up for a vote? If that bill is so egregious to the other side. Republicans have sat there and watched bills get passed that they don't like all the time. It happens all the time. And usually you rarely hear about Republicans walking out of the legislature. Democrats especially Democrats in Texas, they've done it quite a few times. And those Democrat legislators, they've been called up before Congress and praised for walking out, standing up for the minority rights, not minority as in BIPOC minority, but for standing up for whatever minority is the flavor of the day. I need that sip of coffee. Yeah, if they're telling California to hold my beer and vodka soda, I'll take that line. But yeah, I agree that that the state legislators, much as federal legislators, they're elected to do a job and they should be there to do a job. And I usually agree that, whenever a bill has got majority support, the losing side needs to, show up and, admit defeat. They don't have the votes to stop the bill. Admit defeat and let the vote go through. But there are these times where that bill is so egregiously wrong. And this gender affirming healthcare issue, when it involves children, those under the age of 18, those under the age of 16, I recently got into a discussion where I made my usual comment on this, my go-to comment. They said a 13-year-old should be able to decide what their gender is. They're smart enough, they're wise enough, they're mature enough to know what their gender is. And at that point, I said, well, then they're old enough. If they're that mature, that wise, that smart, then let's go ahead and allow them to buy alcohol, cigarettes, and drive vehicles, and own guns. Oh no! They can't do that. In fact, we need to get rid of guns because nobody's smart enough to handle guns. Really? But I thought these kids were smart enough to know, let's let them go ahead and get tattoos. Let's go ahead and get them, let them vote. Let's go ahead and let them do everything that a legal adult can do. Let's just lower the age of majority from 18 to 13, if that's what you want. Let them sign legal contracts. Let them get jobs. Let them do whatever the adult. Let them go out and get married, have children. Let's let them go out and do whatever they want to do at 13, and make them responsible for their actions. They're now a legal adult. Criminal system. They bust out windows. They're tried as an adult would be, not as a child. Juvie courts only go up to age 13 or age 12. At age 13, they're now considered an adult. Well, no, we can't do that because they're not old enough to understand this and this and this. Well, if they're not old enough to understand that, what makes you think they're old enough to understand what it means to have all these drugs injected in their bodies? I know people. It seems I spend a lot of time talking about these children and what's happening to our children. It seems to be sound like a broken record on it because I keep coming back to the aspect of our children. But damn it, they're children. And we're allowing them to destroy their lives. We're allowing people to talk them into destroying their lives. You think about it, most people live to at least age 60 today, barring accidents. Okay? Accidents, war, etc. All right. They're wanting to let a 13-year-old make a decision that will affect them for the next 47 years of their lives. At age 13, you're going to make it, they're wanting them to be able to make a decision that will affect them for the next 47 years. It's bad enough you can do it at age 20, make a stupid decision that affects you for the next 40 years of your life. But you want to let a 13-year-old make that same decision? Or younger? It just it just doesn't make good sense to me, people. It really doesn't. A life altering decision being made at age 13 and not something you can correct by stop doing whatever you're doing. You can stop smoking, and hopefully you stop smoking before you've gotten cancer from it or emphysema or any other lung disease. You can stop drinking alcohol, hopefully long before you've done permanent damage to your liver. And if you get an ugly tattoo, well, there is such a thing. You can get a cover up, or you get laser treatment and have it laser removed. All right. But once you've amputated a part of your body, that's never a thing that can be brought back. Exactly, duck dog. And 20-year-old girls aren't smart enough to keep their parts away from dirty guys. You know, there's a video quote out there by Kamala Harris. Let's see if I can find this real quick. Kamala Harris, kids are stupid. Okay. Find, come over here to videos. Okay, I think I found the video clip. Nope, that one's not working. That link is no longer working. How about this link? Oh, come on. Where is it here? That's not what I want. But anyway, yeah, she said 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid. And she's right. 18 to 24-year-olds are stupid. There's no getting away with it. I did a lot of stupid things when I was 18 to 24. Fortunately, most of that time I was in Germany. And, you know, she said what she said, and she was right. But that's beside the point. Is that being shared? No, that's not shared. Okay. I'm still trying to find, find a lot of fact checks. A lot of people, they're upset that she actually said this, and they're trying to spin it that she didn't say. Here is 2014 speech about how the criminal justice system shouldn't penalize young adults for making certain mistakes. California's Attorney General described young people ages 18 to 24 as stupid. And she did. And she's right. 18 to 24-year-olds make stupid mistakes because they're growing up. You make stupid mistakes when you're 18 to 24. Just like you make even more stupid mistakes when you're 13 to 18. Oh, Badger, break my heart about the pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, I know this is a gold mine for doctors and pharmaceuticals. That's a freaking gold mine that's going to be make a fortune for them and psychiatrists, because all these kids are going to have to go and get treatment. So yeah, it's a thing. I mean, it's money making. But why are we doing this to our kids? Why? Why are we wanting to destroy our children over this? It just doesn't make good sense to me. Why we want to do it? Now, if and someday they're going to have to face up to reality. And we've got some of these people who are out there that have gone through this when they were children, and now they're sorry that they have, but they're not getting the publicity. They're not getting they're getting their word out, but it's not being amplified very much. They're useless. So, okay, let's see here. Another 20 minutes to go. All right, since useless popped up, man, useless. I have found a bread recipe that I absolutely love. It is the first one that I have found the only way I found that I can ruin it is the wife wanted me to put in raisins and cran raisins into it, and that just made it so damned heavy. It's hard to eat, and it's one of the few bread recipes I found that call for milk that I actually like. That turns out good every time, as long as uh, heat your milk to 120 degrees. Now, the only thing I do in violation of the recipe, as it says, is it tells me to add the yeast to the flour before adding the sugar, milk, and water. Now, the 2 cups of milk and the half cup of water. And maybe it's because I'm too old school, but I've always been taught to bloom my yeast first to ensure that it's good before adding it to my dry ingredients. So, because I have found bad yeast, I have gotten bad yeast straight from the store. So I've always been taught to bloom my yeast first. But I mean, it's really a simple recipe. 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of water, half a cup of milk, 120 degrees. Let's see, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, like I said, it says put the sugar into the flour, but I always put it in my milk after I've got it up to temperature, dissolve it, and then add my yeast to that to make sure it blooms first. No, I put the sugar into my half a cup of water and then bloom my uh, yeast in my water. And then add that when I add my milk. And then teaspoon of 2 teaspoons of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Put that on the KitchenAid for 3 minutes. Then add 3 more cups of flour and just bring it all together. Drop it into a pan and bake it. Yeah, I've got to start doing that. I need a new scale though, and I've got to buy a new scale because the one I've got is I just can't read it. It's not very shroom friendly. My wife likes it. I don't. Yeah, because depending on your humidity and such, you could end up you need more flour or less or lesser amounts of flour. You get more accurate when you do by weight, especially if you're doing by grams. Oh, cinnamon raisin bread, yeah. Cinnamon raisin bread toasted up with butter and honey. Man, you can't go wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna have to uh, get off the dime and buy a new set of scales. I just Oh, molasses? Yeah. We don't find much molasses down here in the stores down here in Florida. We've got more honey than molasses. Oh, make some tiger bread. Ooh. Yeah, you're right. I do need more 28 grams. Neil, what are you selling that you only go up to 28 grams, huh? But anyway, yeah, this nice thing about this bread, this recipe I've gotten that I've really gotten good at making rather quickly is it's got a great crumb, and when you toast it and put some butter onto it, that butter's just ever goes down everywhere. Oh, okay, that's a good deal. For let me see if I can find. I want to see if I can find these pictures. I had somebody gave me some. Uh, they made some changes to my logo, and let's see what you guys think. Okay. Uh, dun, dun, dun. Whoops. Come down here. In no particular order. There's one. And let's see here. Let's see. And share this next one. I think this is it here. Yep. Then there's this one. So what do you guys think? Maybe that's what I need to do, Use. Let's go down and check out our local restaurant supply house. We've got a couple of them here in town. I'll go take a look at them, see what they got up. Y'all like the middle one better? Let's see. Duck Dog likes that one better. You can still see the basic mushroom shape to it. It's different. They're definitely different. Well, I'm going to think about it. Find a reason to use them on occasion, but useless likes the middle one. Nil likes the middle one. Yeah, the weed joke just died screaming, "Ah, help me!" No, I wonder, hey, useless. If I replaced the water content with beer, the water portion with beer, I wonder how that would turn out with a loaf of bread. Still add my yeast to it, but instead of bringing water to the party, bring a beer to the party. I won't have to try that. Buy a decent beer and try that. That ought to be fun to try. I know people have done it. I just don't. I want to have to look up and see if I can find a recipe for beer bread instead of trying to reinvent the cake, reinvent the wheel, just steal what somebody else has done and found success with. The plainer the better. Okay. All right. And I guess on the note of getting overindulging in alcohol with beer bread, of course, the alcohol burns out of it or will evaporate out of it in the cooking process. But that still ought to be good. All right. So okay, well then I'd want to make use a instead of using AP flour, use a bread flour that's got more gluten in it. Probably give it a longer rise time too. So, all righty. Well, I am going to end the stream here at this point because all of a sudden my air conditioner has not kicked on now for the past 20 minutes. And it is starting to get a bit warm in here. It's up to 78 degrees, and my AC is supposed to kick on at 75. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, did you hear Hannah Giles? This just popped up on my phone. Hannah Giles has taken over as the face of Project Veritas. Hannah Giles was the woman that uh, O'Keefe used in the Acorn undercover work. All right, yeah, that I will. Okay, let's see what we got here. That oh no. Cancel that. Cancel that. Whew. Almost did an ugly thing there, people. Almost, almost did a very ugly thing. All right, so all right, I'm checking out that short right now. There, what we got? 3 ways triple shot. Uh oh. No, 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 no. Okay. Oh, the cow. Oh, okay. All right. Where is the vol? Okay, there's the volume now. All right. Let me pause that and share it. Yeah. Dang, I can't think of his name now. There's oh boy. Wow. That is Gary Mislick. Mislick. Yeah. That's who I was thinking of. Does fast shooting. That is some. Yeah, you're right. No, I like watching people that can do revolvers like that. That you're Badger. You're right. That is impressive when somebody can do that. But y'all have seen Mislick in his shooting, man. That guy's just simply amazing with how he Micack Jerry Micklick. Yep, here we go. Mickey Lick. All right. Yeah, that boy knows how to shoot. Okay. Yep. Okay. Anyway, I sit here and watch some videos. The guy shoots revolvers faster than I shoot. He- There's some people that can. It's just amazing, and the ones who really impress me are the ones who can shoot that fast and still keep everything on target. You know, because they are the ones who are truly impressive. You can always shoot fast, but if the bullets don't land on target, they don't do you no good. All you're doing is blowing lead in the air, punching holes in the sky. We used to say when pilots would take off on a mission, which was nothing more than go up to. They weren't actually doing something; they're just flying to because they had to fly, especially for colonels and generals. They keep their flight pay. They have to go up and fly so many hours every month. So they go up and just punch holes in the sky. That's all they were doing. They weren't doing any training sorties or anything like that. They were just up there punching holes in the sky. So anyway, everyone try to have a good day. Stay out of trouble. Enjoy yourselves. Go bake some bread, bake a pie, bake some cookies or a cake. Do something to relax and make your house smell good. Because I'll tell you, anytime you have anything baking, it always makes the house smell that much better. All right. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. Stay out of trouble. Be with the ones you love and love the ones that you're with.